Well, we're talking about hurdles, which is the point that Ish just made. We kind of had the same kind of questions and inquiries that you've just mentioned about range and charging and costs and savings and the drive. Obviously, infrastructure is a huge question that drivers have. And it would be nice to know kind of what exactly Uber has been doing to try and help assist that and boost that kind of infrastructure and the amount of charge points. I mean, we've seen it recently in Hammersmith. There's loads more charge points being made, which obviously alleviates that kind of fear and anxiety that these drivers might have. Do Uber have any plans? Or
we do, and it's a big, so we've got a little team working on clean air stuff exclusively, and one of our team is just working on the infrastructure side. So it's something we're taking really seriously because we really recognise that exact point. I think when we talk to drivers, we talk to people who are part of this plan, they'll say, first off, I'm worried about cost, and then always the second thing is charging. How's charging going to work? And a lot of people who have adopted electric cars in the sort of early phase are people who've got the luxury of parking them on their drive and charging them overnight. And that if you can do that, that's great. But if you're not in that position, it does change the game a little bit in terms of how it works. And our assumption is that a lot of Uber partner drivers are not going to be in that position. I wouldn't be in that position.
Well, we actually did sorry to interrupt. We did a survey. I mean, it was about 2 years ago now, but with the Uber partners, it was about 100 to 150 people sample of our own drivers who were Uber partners, and I think about 2/3 didn't have a driveway.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, so I think that kind of
And I think and so we've got to think of solutions for those people.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we're doing a few different things. Firstly, we're working on just understanding that as in as much detail as we possibly can. Uber's a technology company, got a lot of data we can use. We can really think about the ways in which our understanding of how people move around the city would inform good decisions about where you put those charging points. Where you put them is really important because you want to put them in places that are easy and convenient to use, and we're going to get a lot of through flow of traffic. And particularly in central London, spaces are premium, so you can't just be dotting them everywhere. You'll start to ruin the pavement. You'll start to have vehicles parked in inconvenient places. So that's a difficult problem to crack, but we think we can really help play a role there. Playing a role means collaborating a lot with other people. So a lot with TFL. You might have seen TFL published a big report this summer on EV infrastructure delivery plan. And we helped to feed into that along with a lot of other people. And we're still working with that team. TFL recognise that they have a role to play in rolling out some of that network, but they're not going to do it themselves. They wouldn't never say they're going to do it entirely themselves, and so the private sector has a big role to play there too. So we're having a whole suite of conversations with some of the big
ChargeMaster,
those
Source
kind of
London,
people, the people who've got the sort of the bigger networks where they're going to get that coverage across the city. And we're trying to do two things with that. We're trying to say, how can we ensure that Uber partner drivers have the best possible deal with those providers, because they're going to be heavy users of that infrastructure. And then secondly, how do we help them make, as I said, smart decisions about where you put those chargers? And I think the thing that we probably, final point to make is just, it's a very new industry, the electric vehicle charging. So there's lots of a bit like all new industries, people try a lot of different approaches, and then I guess it kind of consolidates over time. We're most interested in the rapid public charging. Yeah. So, recognizing that if you're doing this for a living, you don't want to be sat there whilst your car charges very slowly for hours on end, and you don't have the luxury of leaving it overnight.
Yeah, it's not an efficient way of doing the job, is it?
It's not, absolutely not. And so, based on current technology, you can charge in 45 minutes to an hour as long as you have good access to a rapid public charger. And so that's probably where we're putting most of our focus. How do we ensure we get enough of those in the right places at the right price?
Because I think the slow chargers do work if it's kind of near your home and you're able to leave your car there for a while. But the rapid ones definitely are more kind of, let's say, sustainable in terms of a solution, because 40 minutes you're out.
You had some stats as well.
And I think we talk, as you can imagine, we talk about this a lot. I think I probably had assumed that the slow ones would be a good option for quite a lot of people overnight. Generally, the sentiment is that people don't love that, because unless it's literally outside your house or kind of very close by, obviously then comes with a whole host of other decisions about, am I happy to leave my car there? What if I need to move in the morning? So actually people probably prefer to start their day, drive, charge up, and then go and do their shift. And so that probably just ups the emphasis for us on more and more of those rapids, and to have them, in central London where we've got a lot of density, but also to have them where people live, because our drivers are spread all over the city, and so we don't want them to all be congregating on one hub in Soho.